kind of been switching over to the dark side recently in our ad account, and we're fully one campaign bid caps right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's hear
so
about it.
full
How's
dark
it?
side, and it's working.
It is.
So
It is
far.
working.
Yeah.
So how do you? So it's one campaign
Yeah.
with ABO. What kind of
It's
what do you have?
CBO.
It's
So it's
CBO. Okay.
yeah.
How
Um,
many ad sets do you have?
right now 4,
Okay.
but started with just one, which is one broad ad set.
What is it?
Uh,
What are the audiences under each four?
so we have just the big broad one, and then we have another broad one for creative testing.
Yep.
Um, and then we have an interest stack and
Yep.
a high value lookalike stack.
High value lookalike, mostly based off static lists.
It's dynamic with Klaviyo, but yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So, so you have creative testing in a CBO. Do you have budget mins on this, or is this just you're
Nope.
letting it? Wow,
Just letting it
this is
go.
bold,
So,
man. I would never do this.
and yeah, I was kind of thinking about it for a while and just
Uh-huh.
kind of went full send on it. So
So
I'll
and
keep
it's
you
go. So
guys
how many ads do
updated.
you have? How many ads do you have in it?
Right
Or
now,
like
like
how many ads are they like the top performers that are you doing graduated stuff in this?
so I took the best performing content because we were heavily relying on A plus before this.
Yeah.
So took the best performing content, the best. I was reading best practices on how many ads to put in an ad set for CBO versus like A plus. So we had 18 ads in our A plus campaign, but
Yeah.
we have 6 ads in the broad ad set. So we just took the top 6. Um, it's a mix
Okay.
of videos, statics, and then one dynamic uh, product ad.
So, okay. So how did you set, are the bid caps are the same? I mean, obviously it's because it's a CBO.
Yeah, so even
So
within the CBO, you can change the bid caps for each ad set.
right. So you did though. You're customizing them for each one.
Yeah.
And how did you set it? Or how did you
So
arrive on this number?
we started with so kind of like I will preface this with saying like you really have to know like what you're seeing in platform and what that translates to on the bottom line. So
Right.
like overall business goal CPA target is around $20. However, in platform, depending on how attribution is week to week, it's acceptable to see anywhere from $30 CPA to $45 CPA.
Sure.
So started the bid cap at a $45 CPA and started it at a lowish budget just to make sure, because I wanted to start it where it was spending the full budget and then work it down over time to where it was being restricted by the bid cap and then uncap the budget afterwards. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what we did. So we started it a little bit high and then just kind of worked it down over time. And
Mm-hmm.
we're still looking for that sweet spot. So we've had, a few days of lower spend and like really high efficiency. And then we've also had some days with some higher spend and some lower efficiency. So we're dialing in that sweet spot right now, but it's spending between 50 to 70% of the budget right now. And yeah.
So, and this is, and we don't have to talk about exact numbers, but this is like over, or is it below? Is it over 5 grand a day that you're spending on this? You're a big spender.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. Because the only time which I have also tried this that I've ever been able to get this strategy to do anything is if I was spending over 4 grand a day with one of our clients. And the minute we went below, it like fell apart.
Yeah, I would be worried, especially on the weekends we see lower volume.
Yeah.
So if we weren't hitting like 50 conversions, let's just say if we weren't hitting like 50 conversions on per
Yeah.
day, I don't think it would work nearly as well.
Yeah.
Um, just because it wouldn't be able to like predict fast enough that the profitability of the auction is like deteriorating or whatever, and it needs to not bid in an auction. Um, so yeah, I think that is one piece of why it's working is because we went full consolidation and put all of the budget into this to allow the platform as much data as possible um, to, you know, decide if it can get a conversion at or below the bid.
Yeah, look, like, so thank you for letting me grill you about this. I
Yeah.
celebrate the fact that you didn't just leave and flip me off. Like it's that is awesome that it is working for you. I think what it shows is a leading indicator of when given enough volume, this can be a viable solution.
Yeah.
Um, which
And
and it shows that, you know, not all discussion about bidding and bid strategy and structure, like it's different for every account. And it's different for the vertical and how many conversions you have and have come, you know, so that nuance still exists, but I'm glad it's working, and that's awesome. So that's good to hear, because hopefully it makes your life a little easier.
yeah, especially just historically, weekends like are not great for us for whatever reason. I know that's the opposite of a lot of people, but the weeks are really strong for us, and then the weekends kind of suck. So far, I'll say so far, it has been good at limiting unprofitable spend on the weekends, which is good. And one thing, just kind of anecdotally, is with the lowest cost campaigns that we've been running for, you know, 2+ years that we're not running now, there was a certain amount of spend, especially in the mornings or during like maybe low like auction volume times of the day, where there would be unprofitable spend in the lowest cost campaigns that we are not seeing now with the manual bids, uh, where it may not really start spending until, you know, noon or later, but then it picks up. And so we're staying out of those unprofitable auctions in the morning that we were participating in with the lowest cost bidding. Um, so the pacing is much better just in general. So that's another thing.
Spencer, did you say you hard swapped over from like ASC one day, turned it off over to Big Cat?
Yep.
I mean, how did you emotionally get through that day? Like that's did you go on a run? Like, are you somebody that drinks alcohol? Like, how did you work through that day? Because I would be so worried myself.
Yeah. So I mean, I was kind of worried, but I could always, the thing in the back of my mind was if it doesn't work, I can always just switch on those campaigns that we're doing okay, you know.
Right.
And whatever hindrance I put in the learning would be gone within a few days for the campaigns that were shut off. So yeah, even though it was like a full send switch, I still kind of had in the back of my mind, if this doesn't work, I can just go back to what was already doing okay.
How long did you like? What was your look back window to determine what in platform CPA was reasonable for you? Was it like 6 months? Was it 3 months? Was it? How did you find that?
What's 7 day, just 7 days.
So I mean, like, so if you knew your business CPA had to be 20 bucks,
Mm-hmm.
and then in platform you're looking at the 30 to 45 range, turned out to be okay for you guys. How did you figure that out? Was that looking back over 6 months of data, or?
I see what you're asking now. So I generally at the end of each week, will look into our no commerce survey responses, and then I've described it in the past, but you work
Yeah.
backwards from there to see how effective we were over the course of the week, and if the survey responses reflect what we're seeing in platform and or not, and that's kind of how we reconcile that to deal with variance and attribution.
How will you launch new creative?
So yeah, that's a tricky part, but we have one broad creative testing ad set in the CBO, and so far the creatives that we've been launching in there, we launch anywhere from 2 to 5 creatives every Monday, and so far those creatives have been getting enough spend to determine whether or not they're a winner. So that was one thing I was skeptical of going into it, but the algorithm seems to have a good enough signal early on what creatives can deliver the results you're looking for, depending on the bid cap. So yeah, I debated, and right now the creative testing bid cap is at the same bid cap as the main scaling ad set. And I had thought for a while I'd have to set that bid cap either higher to get it to spend or lower to keep it from blowing through the budgets in that one ad set. But so far it's been fine. It's been getting enough spend to determine if things are winners or not. Yeah.